we go to Gukesh and see whether he can maintain his lead. A win would get him one big step closer to the Tata Steel title. Gukesh, a win with black is priceless in any round robin tournament, any all play all. And firstly, this position does look pretty nice for black. I've got to say, Tanya, he's got an open H file once the black knight moves. Potential attacking chances against the white king. Jordan here playing freestyle chess on his back rank. There's also a really nice outpost for the black knights. I'm looking at this square. Ooh, juicy. Should we recap? See how we got here?
Let's do it. Let's start from where we left it, because a lot has clearly happened and it feels like Gukesh has managed to turn around the troubles, and it all started with him declining the repetition. How many times did we see Gukesh do that narrative in the World Championship as well? Just his will to play on, his will to continue fighting, and it looked like once again he was rewarded for that.
Exactly. Fortune favors the brave, as they say, and Gukesh is very brave when it comes to his chess style, always trying to press, even in worse positions, as he was here. And rather than continue the dance between the bishops, bishop to d6, bishop to f4, etc., he dropped his queen back to d8. Not liked by the computers, and f3, a good move by Van Forest, hitting the black knight. But it does become a bit of a deep, dark Van Forest here, and it does get murky. Knight back to f6. Here, castles by white, when the blue arrow shows that e4 occupying the center was very strong. E4, I think, just pawn storm on the mind would have given white an edge, but instead castling, looking very natural. And the downside, though, was that knight h7, suddenly there's a lot of tension on this diagonal, and a capture, meaning that h4 was not possible to protect anymore. This pawn simply drops off next move. f4, queen takes pawn. Van Forest retreats his queen. There is a threat to win the black bishop. The black bishop is trapped. So, of course, Gukesh finds the only move, the best move, to prevent that. Knight takes pawn. Due to the tension between the queens, regaining the material, queen drops back. And this is how we got here, Tanya. An exchange, king slide, knight retreat, only move from Jordan. But looking good for Gukesh, it's got to be said. Just how good? That is the question, as you mentioned. Why is this such a big advantage for black?
I'm going to be honest, David. For me, it's not really that clear, especially now that the material balance has been restored. This white knight, you pointed out the e4 square. Yes, it's really beautiful, but the white knight at the right moment can reroute itself, and it's kind of set itself on the path, right, via f2, d3 to the e5 post as well. It gives a big advantage, but unless black is able to find a way to set up the majors on the H line, which feels like a far off dream, the h4 square right now defended by the queen on e1. One point I do see is that after a move like knight f6, which feels like you're hitting the bishop, it might be a little bit awkward for white to really find a post. Bishop to g6 hits f5. Maybe that's the move. Maybe you just have enough time to not get your bishop trapped there.
Yeah, does look a bit scary, but I think white can jump in and grab this pawn, which is very hard to defend, surprisingly, for black. You can defend it with your queen, but how does white continue here?
Ooh, now knight f2, no?
Maybe queen b4 check?
Ooh.
I just saw the bar rise, and this is the only explanation I I mean, this is why chess with an eval bar, I mean, we'd all be world champions, right? King g8, and now I think you can grab, hit the rook, hit the pawn.
Yeah.
Okay, it could turn. It's not as simple, Tanya. I actually missed bishop g6, I must confess, so that's a very important spot. Yeah, that's a nice spot from you there. Because otherwise, knight f6, if the bishop retreats, I would be very confident as black. Like rook to e8, just to kind of tie white down to this pawn. But the bishop has this post. Okay, Gukesh. I mean, out of the top three kind of players here, I would say Pragg looks like clearly winning. Abdusattorov in trouble. Gukesh somewhere in the middle. Maybe slightly better. But as you say, nothing too significant. So we'll come back a bit later because there is action happening, very dramatic action elsewhere.
And by that, I think you mean the Prag board, right? The most dramatic board right now, where we did see a piece sacrifice. We see the bar has shot all the way up for Prag. Can he finish this off? It looks very, very close, right, David? He's also just swapped off the minor piece on b5. He can pick up a third pawn, and that's that second board on that bottom row right now. Queen takes pawn coming in with a check. Is there any hope for Sarana in this one, or will the attack be just too strong? Should we jump into this one?
I think we have to. This does look like a winning advantage if you see the eval bar alone. If you just focus on the black king, it looks like it's over. But of course, finishing chess games, especially against the world's elite, can be especially difficult. Okay, maybe just a very quick recap. Pragg looks eager to make a move. He's got 20 minutes. Okay, maybe no time for a recap. He's about to show us the way. A6. Wow, I like it, Tanya. He's stopped the black rook, the black bishop from ever blocking any checks. He's controlling that square. Just a quick recap then for everyone at home. We jumped in, we saw knight takes a6, double exclamation point here. Sacrifice, rook takes c6 being the idea. The defenses are broken. Rook d7 was Sarana's attempted defense. We didn't investigate this, but knight to f5 is now allowed. There's no diagonal open anymore for the black bishop. The queen drops back. She has to defend her knight. And now after a capture, a6. And okay, computer approves. What is the plan though? Do you see an immediate knockout for white?
I think this is just such a classy move, right? And so instructive, because for me, it was so attractive to just pick up the b5 pawn with a check. But that would have given Sarana the opportunity he needs to get the pieces and to defend. And Pragg doesn't rush. He doesn't rush with the most natural moves. So sort of fighting his instincts takes away that key square with the move a6. And they're always eyeing that pawn going one step forward to a7 to open up the a line, even if it comes at the cost of a little pawn there. It's going to be a big file to open up. Queen takes pawn. Notice how the b5 pawn cannot be defended. You can't guard against it. To me, the big question is, if black was to, let's say, go king a8, just preempting queen takes pawn, I really don't see another move here. Maybe you can just, if there's any suggestions, stop me. But the point I want to make is that king a8, queen takes pawn. Okay, we've got an answer already. Rook to a7 is the move of choice. Let's go ahead with the check. King to a8. And now is the big question. How are you finishing this off? And David, there is one idea that I want to point out here. Now the rook has moved to d7, to a7, the d6 square. White knight on h4 that was so beautifully placed as a defender. Rook d6, knight d6 are two very attractive moves to me here. But that knight landing on d6 might just be a killer move.
I love it, Tanya. And I just want you to show as well, you're attacking this bishop now. If the bishop tries to save itself, I think you have a sneaky idea in mind.
Should we ask chat? Because it's too beautiful. It's really a stunning trick. And I think both of us want the same finish. David, white to play for chat. Put your thinking hats on. Let's keep an eye on our board. By the way, queen takes pawn, king 8 on the board. We might be seeing knight d6. Let's see if chat gets this trick.
We do see knight d6. Let's just show it again. Queen takes pawn check happened. Knight d6. Well, he's played it. It's on the board, Tanya.
Queen to b7 and it's handshakes. A beautiful, beautiful, stunning finish. A queen sacrifice on the board by Pragnananda that would have led to checkmate. Our chat spotted it as well. David, you will break this down to us once we get our live boards. But what a way to finish this game off at this stage of the tournament, right? Getting that piece play in, fully controlling the board, getting a sacrifice, and finally an artistic queen sacrifice to wrap that ribbon on this beautiful gift, a point in round 12.